Welcome back, everybody. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Aaron.
This is our show, Crypto Cosm, where I talk about the astrological forecast.
And I bring you that sweet crypto news.
And there's a lot going on. We've been out for a hot minute here, almost this entire retrograde. The retrograde ended on Sunday, April 15th, thank God.
It was a rough one.
It was an interesting one.
A rough one.
And in Aries, good. Everybody wants to just fight. And it's going to still be there for another 20 to 30 days, 20 days.
Well, but we've had a slight change in the weather now. The pattern has seemed to change tides a little bit. And there's something going on with that. And so it is said, and so it is Sharia. Islam has declared halal for Bitcoin, which gives 1.6 billion people. 1.6 billion Muslims the rights to Bitcoin now.
Halal. I like halal. I mean, we're here, we're in Dearborn here. We have the highest population of Muslims in the entire country, which, let me just say, they have delicious food, amazing people. They do.
So many herbs and spices.
It's delicious.
I love it.
Delicious. So, now that Bitcoin is halal, this makes everybody happy.
We saw a price jump of $1,000.
In an hour.
Yeah, almost 30 minutes. In 30 minutes. And it was what was really interesting. There was a lot of controversy of like, oh, is it the crypto cartel? Oh, is it Warren Buffett and his friends coming in like they sent out the article? Well, I'll tell you what, everybody, if Warren Buffett and his crew is going to send out an article saying that, you know what, we're thinking about cryptocurrency, but first we're going to tell everybody that we're going to do it, wait for all them to buy it, and then buy an app. No, I'm sorry, guys, that's not how it's going to play out. If that was the case, I mean, they're already in. They're already in. The big fish are already in the water. They're not going to come out.
And they were in a lot before December 2017.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what. When I think personally, my personal biased opinion, is when the Bitcoin futures contracts came out, is when the big dogs decided to step foot in. So that they could take the positions on shorting Bitcoin and take the positions on Bitcoin itself so they can play both sides of the fence. And when you're a whale, you can splash around in the water as much as you want to. You get the best of both worlds, unfortunately.
Well, us little people, for them, but us little people, waves.
Kind of, we're all in the splash zone and we feel the effects. So we got to kind of be aware and on top. So when we see these articles coming out, know that it's a bunch of hullabaloo or whatever you want to call it, because.
Hullabaloo?
Hullabaloo.
Where did you come up with this word?
I don't know. That one's from probably my parents or something. I couldn't tell you.
You're full of hullabaloo, Aaron.
It just comes out. It just comes out. What's more, speaking of big dogs, we've talked about Walmart coming into this space, the crypto blockchain space with their smart delivery systems and things like that. Almost brought tears to my eye. Now, Bloomberg reports that Google is now going to be developing in the development stages, developing their own blockchain and public ledger, which crushes all my hopes and dreams of them partnering up with Lisk, the Java programmers extraordinaire.
Which is at like $9 right now. 9 and change, Holy smokes.
Yep. And as so many other cryptocurrencies are feeling the wrath of, that recent drop since January. We're still feeling those effects. And, we may have come back up about $1,000, but we got peaks and valleys here. I mean, there was a little bit of one little peak that shows that we broke above trend. We'll see if we can even maintain that for any serious length of time, or if we're going to start setting a new trend line and see this further consolidation. So it's really kind of up in the air at this point. So Walmart, Google, one that I was also really excited about, but also kind of played with my emotions once again, is Apple Pay.
Playing tiddlywinks with my heart, Apple.
Apple Pay.
What are you doing over there with XRP?
Using Ripple. Ripple. We all know how everybody, or most of us, feel about Ripple. But, I think it's going to be one of those necessary evils. And we've talked about this before. It's going to increase the securities of Apple's transactions with their mobile applications, etc., their platform applications going on forward here.
I just want to know though, like we're still at that. Ripple can create more Ripple at any point. It's the same thing with the Federal Reserve. It's what makes this country suck. I mean, a lot of things do. you know, I mean, there's some poor attitudes out there, but you know, like really, the Federal Reserve is like what makes our financial structure in this country just tank.
And they hold, Ripple holds, XRP holds 60%. 60% of the coins are held by the business.
So
that means for every dollar that we all throw in there, 60% of that is now in the hands of the business owners.
yeah, I mean, again,
That's insane.
that's a lot. That's too much. That's too much.
That's a lot. That's a lot more than a lot of other companies are using. The fact that they're not locked up for all that long, I mean, really gives them the money in their and a lot of money in their hands. And maybe because it's in the institutional environment that they use this to, you know, tell us more stories about how, oh, we need to control the flow of inflation and deflation or manipulate the money at our will. But that is neither here nor there. But Ripple has really found a home for itself. It's Western Union, Apple Pay. There's so many big names coming out. Banks
shaking hands with everybody.
Banks in Japan. I mean, we've talked about Ripple in and out of this show.
Which is interesting because Cardano is kind of like Japan's go-to in the future. So it's really interesting that Ripple's even gotten, penetrated that force. Like that's.
Yeah, well,
that's some serious handshaking power, man. Like, I got to give it up to them. Like, as much as I don't like the idea that they can just create more coins anytime they want, that they own 60% of their own share, which means at any point in time they can just dump it and make the coin kind of
print more,
less valuable.
More. Unfortunately, it's the way it goes.
Right. And it's there's so many things that are against them, but certain things about their business, I can't help but tip the hat to. That's what this is. This is tipping the hat.
They've done very well on both sides.
They have. It's impressive. If Verge could only kind of have that, then we'd all be
Verge has seen a price jump to us recently. It's definitely gone up a couple cents. And I've seen a few articles floating around specifically on Verge talking the hype. Personally, I don't know how, these big moves are making it. I mean, we're in a world of pure speculation here. I mean, unfortunately, Verge is one that I kind of lost touch with because of their marketing campaigns and their marketing structure. It's compared to other companies, it's really not very strong. And to make these big moves to really hurl it forward in the generation that we're going to see, like when the quote-unquote Bitcoin bubble pops, or when these, mountains rise out of the ocean after so much, what's the word I'm looking for? Testing to become tried and true, if you will.
Sure.
How that's going to play out, I don't see the firepower behind it.
And I'm curious, is there a great privacy coin? We've got Monero, we've got Verge, we've got what Bitcoin? What is that? What is their Bitcoin privacy? What was that called?
That was Verge.
The Bitcoin privacy coin.
Well, Verge was a fork of Bitcoin. Believe it or not, there's a little.
But I thought there was there's like 5 Bitcoin Gold. I thought there was Bitcoin Private.
Bitcoin has, Bitcoin has forked over 70 times.
70?
70 times Bitcoin has forked. All the money that individuals that are investing in this time and space, if you were just sitting there banking off of forking of Bitcoin, you could make some major loot. 70 times. 70 times.
But I mean, they're not all getting that same split that Coinbase gave to the Bitcoin Cash holders once they. I mean, that was an incentive. I mean, not everybody's getting that.
For however many Bitcoins that you hold, you get that many coins of whatever forked currency that you get.
And now, is that pertaining to a certain block, just the same way that they did the Litecoin Cash? Like,
yes,
it's only if this block. I'm not eligible.
That block. Basically, they said, we're going to split here. So if you held at any point in time before this, and you're still holding at that time, whoever's holding at this block is going to get it.
70 times.
70 times. That's a mega buck. So for those of you lazy investors, or
well, you can't be that lazy if you're going to invest in Bitcoin that early to get it to.
By lazy, I mean you just want to get away to get some additional passive income, and on top of the growing investment that Bitcoin has already become, you can cash in on the forex. Absolutely.
So then, what privacy coin here? What kind of privacy coin do you think is like a tried and true? Which one do you think is got the iron handshake that we're talking that Ripple's got going on right now?
Well, I think the crown of that is going to go personally to Monero at this point in time. That's for number one privacy coin. Now, if we're talking in terms of unique, I like Navcoin.
Navcoin?
I like Navcoin, and here is why. Navcoin is the first platform privacy coin. So, meaning that individuals can come in and build decentralized private apps on top
That's pretty cool.
of this private ledger. Which
I could see that being huge in the future.
who knows what that is going to turn into? I mean,
It's going to be huge.
when I think about it in terms of private transactions, and this is completely neutral when I say this, but we have the apps that you can go ahead and download your music, you can download your movies, you can stream movies, you could do this, you could do that. Well, now we're going to put it on a private blockchain. Well, there's just no stopping the counterfeiting, not the counterfeiting, but
Yeah, I mean, it is.
in terms of stopping pirated software and information, it's going to happen. It's going to be out there. They're not going to be able to stop it. So in terms of having that beautiful niche, I can't wait to see what happens in that
That's
space.
interesting. Right, I mean, the piracy alone has destroyed the film industry. It's destroyed the music industry. The only one that hasn't hit it is the video game industry yet. You know, like the video, as far as entertainment goes, it's the leading, monetary gains is video games.
Well, they have worked around it. And it's interesting because a lot of the games, I'll bring up Fortnite. I'm sure we've got plenty of watchers involved in the crypto spaces that plays Fortnite, which has taken the role of thunder away from most of the video games at this current time. Free to play. Drop 100 guys on an island. Guess what? Last man standing is the king. Free to play. Has over 134 million users. Yes, I do dabble from time to time. But it's all free. But now what you're paying for is cool skins, cool gear.
Ah, so it's you're buying in.
And it holds absolutely no value or no intrinsic value whatsoever. So they're changing their models, and they're doing it very well. They get them hooked, and unless you want to look the same as the other 134 million guys, yeah, you could spend, $20 here, $30 there, 20.
Right.
And there are individuals that end up spending way more than if they just bought a $50 game off of the shelf like back in the old days. That doesn't
makes you
happen
happy.
anymore.
Yeah, so like it'll be interesting when the music industry kind of goes that way as well. When they're like, hey, well, you bought this, or even film. You bought the film, but now here's the direct download content. They're really not there yet. But I don't want to go down that path.
But it's going to force the game to change. So when you say destroy, transform, it's going to
same thing,
change.
right?
Absolutely.
No manure, no magic. That's what we say.
Last but not least, Coinbase tells the SEC straight up that they want to become just an approved registered brokerage company.
Say that again. An approved registered brokerage company.
I probably threw one extra word in there. A registered brokerage company with the SEC. So we've seen these things come out to where we have some issues of whether these things are being sold as securities or whether they're not securities, whether it's property, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, they're not trying to hide in the dark. They're coming out in the open and saying, what can I do to get this done now? So they are really the pioneers in the field, paving the way for other exchanges to come. And with that, we're going to see kind of this merger of these rules and regulations, I think, faster because of it, which, let's face it, I'm sorry, they're needed. We got to have it.
And the fact that, tying it all in, the fact that Mercury is still in Aries, and is just, it's all the way back at 4 degrees. It ended back at 4 degrees. And not until May 15th does Mercury and Uranus move at the exact same time into Taurus, okay? But the fact that Mercury has to go all the way back through Aries, okay, it's got 26 to 25 and a half degrees to go.
Everything we just went through.
Everything we went through. We're going to see it again. But the fact is that we have forward momentum. that is the key, is that we've got forward momentum coming up here. Okay, we've been going backwards. We've been in review mode. Retrogrades is a great time to review things. Like, okay, maybe I didn't finish this project. Maybe I need to, just go back and QC, quality control everything. And again, with Mercury squaring Saturn, it's going to happen again for the third time this year, which that doesn't happen. That does not happen. You know what I mean? Like, that's so rare. It's bananas. So the fact that Mercury is going to square Saturn for the third time this year, and Saturn's up again. Saturn last year and for the past 28 and a half years has been all around the zodiac, but it hasn't been in Capricorn. Capricorn is what gives us the structure. It's like, it hasn't been there. So like, we're getting this dose of structure and organization. And it's like, if it weren't for Saturn, we wouldn't have roads. You know what I mean? Like, it's defining the limits. Again, it's like, we want to get from A to B. Well, there's a freaking mountain in our way.
That's the SEC.
The mountain's in our way. Well, what are we going to do? We're going to take some dynamite. We're going to blast through there. We're going to pave roads. We're going to make the steps. It's hard. It's not going to be easy. That is the epitome of Saturn. Or if you take a balloon, all right, this is the beautiful thing, like Jupiter, Saturn, all right? Your air inside of a balloon is expansion, 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 all right? Once that balloon reaches its maximum limits, Saturnian, the limit, it's going to pop, all right? Your dreams, that's Neptune. There is no balloon. It's just blowing the air, okay? It's expansive, expansive, expansive. There is no restrictions from Saturn. So again, Saturn is that like restriction, but it's creating order and structure. So now that it's again moved in here since December of 2017, so this is the first time we're really seeing these patterns as we move throughout, the zodiac this year into next year, 2019 and at 2020. So this is the first time that we're experiencing this in over 30 years, that we're seeing these kinds of things happen.
Brand new territory.
Right. So, and the fact that Bitcoin didn't exist last time we had this. Did the stock market? Of course it did. And huge things happened during that time. And the 30 years prior to that it doesn't matter. So, but the idea is that we're going to see more and more and more and more structure. And the fact that we're moving forward momentum with our planet of information and trades, which is really good. Because again, it's just like, and how many people have gotten into just like the most insane arguments with people that are like, no, you're missing this one, it's like this paper thin slice. You just don't see that, but it's just like, it's like the light's being shed just a little bit odd, and people are just like quick to be aggressive and assertive, and no, it's like this. It's like, dude,
I've definitely felt that.
That is the epitome of Mercury and Aries. It's go, let's fight, baby. It's like, no, let's slow it down. Saturn's there saying, slow it down. And so the 25th of this month is when we have that square again. It's exact. So around the 24th, the 25th. Let's just go by. All right, I was looking originally at this for the past, 15 retrograde cycles, we've seen huge bumps. And we've done them. We've looked at them. For the past, since 2013 to 2017, okay, for those 4 years, and the retrograde happens 3 times a year. So it's like, every time that we've looked at these charts, there's been a bump during these retrogrades because it's the way that we act. It's that frenzy that we act in of, I've got to, I don't know where I'm going, but I've got to go, and people want to act. And the Bitcoin thing, since 2013, every time, 3 times a year, it was a bump.
They were much more prominent halfway through.
Right.
When we've got substantial money in the market.
And this is the first time. And it's funny, halfway through, and I look at Air and I say, never underestimate the power of Saturn. Because it's like, man, the second that Mercury went into Aries, which was on the 6th, and then Venus went in on the 7th.
Right after my birthday.
Of March, not April.
Sorry, you caught me off guard.
We're back a month, guys. So the 6th and 7th of April. What happened? That was when Mt. Gox said, I'm taking mine. It's like, we haven't experienced these aspects yet with Saturn here and then everything moving through Aries. It was a formidable, very It was a nice, harmonious aspect when it was in Sagittarius. When Saturn was in Sagittarius the past 2.5 years, and then everything's going through self of Aries, it's just like, yeah, I'm going to go through me, and I'm going to take that trine over there to Saturn and explore more. I'm going to explore different kinds of avenues, explore other kinds of philosophies, other kinds of money. We're not in there anymore. We're in structure of Capricorn. It's just like, dude, we're in a whole new game right now.
Tell you how many individuals were exploring, their Lambo over here in the last 2 years. That's for sure.
It's true. It's true, and it's like it's inspired more people to dip their toe in the pond.
It has.
But the pond's changed. The pond has changed, man. Like, it changed in December, and it wasn't just about the money coming in. Like, these planetary aspects are huge. All right.
Well, now we have the amount of water that was in a pond that is now in a sea.
Right. Exactly. So it looks like there's a lot less. It's just like, no. Well, if you take the liquid that's in this cup and put it into a big gulp, well, it's going to look like a lot less liquid, but it's the same exact thing. But that's a good analogy.
And the amount of individuals that are going to enter these markets is got to catch up with the point of the new companies that are now advertising their own ICOs, their new blockchains, their new products. I mean, it is just enormous. We're up to almost 1,600 or 1,700,
which is another
different blockchains
huge
at
key.
this point.
Those did not all exist last year, the year before, or the year before that. So what does that mean? Bitcoin has been, everyone has their eye on the king. It's just like, well, the king's dispersed down to 7,000, 8,300 or somewhere like that right now. 83, 8,700. But we didn't have 1,500 coins. So it's like, well, these people have been profiting off of Bitcoin for, who knows, however long it's been, which has been great. And now they say, well, I'm going to jump into this ICO. I'm going to jump into this. So it makes Bitcoin go do. But the money's still there, but they're just putting in all these other things. It's like, these little rivers that are branching off of the lake. It's just like there's still
peak dominance for Bitcoin was 65%, I think, last year, and now we're bouncing back between about 35 to 40%. So a third of that, of what was once Bitcoin, is disseminated into all these other altcoins and ICOs. Everybody is so ICO crazy.
It's true. Well, because that's where I can make the most money.
It's ridiculous. And then you see these ICOs come out, like, let's talk about WanChain. When we were talking about 5 or 10 cents in the beginning, WanChain. Topping out at $5 or $4.76 some odd cents. And now shoots down at about $1.50 afterwards. And that's even if as soon as it hits that market, or there goes another $1.50 straight into the coin. And then as soon as that happens, everybody sells off. So it's like all the individuals that were like, oh, I didn't get my chance.
Dude, yeah.
Well, then wait till everybody sells off. Give it another 2 weeks until everybody sells it off and it hits that peak like every single ICO out there has since I don't even know when. Almost every single chart, we're going to see that massive drop-off after the sell-off. So for those individuals, and the Americans, the unaccredited investors, 3, maybe 4 weeks after ICO time, I have found is when I have been buying in those certain coins.
Not a bad plan. And I mean, and they do. Like, that's the thing. It's right now, and we're going to be in an ebb and flow. We're going to be in the peaks and valleys, and I think until later this year. I see October, November, December, as far as astrology goes, like being a very, very profitable time for when we're going to start to see a lot more people jump in this pool. I think what's going to happen next month in May, when we see these regulations, these whatever rules are coming out on the 15th of May. We've been talking about this since episode 1. All right, when Uranus moves into Taurus, that is a big deal. Right, I'm curious. It's like, I know something's coming, but I don't know what. We don't know what. But we know when that happens, it's going to be a game changer, just like it was back in 1934. And every time that Uranus has gone through that, well, it's already out there. We already put that one out.
Last year, we also saw a jump right in end of spring, beginning of summer. And then we tapered off, and then we saw the big chomp. Astrologically, we're going to be coming back up again here soon as well, same as we did last year.
Yep.
So it's hopefully we can get a nice little semi hilltop at least coming up at the end of spring, and we'll see what happens.
Right. So again, the next date right now, the 25th of this month, we're going to have that third square. And then on the 5th, we're going to have Mercury squaring Pluto up there. All right, so it's slowly making its way, and then finally on the 15th, Mercury and Uranus both move into Taurus, which is a favorable Earth sign, Capricorn, Earth sign, Taurus, Earth sign. All right, this is a very favorable time. Once that happens, mid-May, guys, you know, we're just talking about being in a different pool. We're going to be in a whole other game come mid-May.
Well, I can't wait to see what happens, man. And it feels good to get back into the swing of things.
Feels definitely good. Let's do it.
What do you say? That's your turn. I'm going to let you. Please.
This one.
Do the honors.
Screaming out to me.
A little card of wisdom for you.
All right, it's important to be somebody somewhere. It's important to be somebody somewhere. Justin Pronte, that is my friend who created those cards to begin with. It's important to be somebody somewhere, so just be you, baby.
We love it. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that little notification button so you guys don't miss a beat. Thanks for joining us here on
Crypto Cosm. Ding. Cool, man.